Hi, Kyle. Governor Jesse Ventura here, or in the days of wrestling, Jesse the Body Ventura. Thanks for doing this. And you want...
Spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means? It's time for all the toy news, action figure, conspiracy news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you, and today we've got a week full of conspiracy. I brought in Jesse Ventura once again. Jesse kicking off this episode for us. We're going to see Jesse a time or two later on in this very video. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of big news topics to talk about this week. Some good, some bad, some ugly, and some fun. That's the way we're going to do it here this week. But of course, every single week we kick off with a little bit of housekeeping. A little bit of housekeeping this week is, got to give a special shout out to the G.I. Jive store, G.I. Jive, for sending me this sick t-shirt. Oh my gosh, bowled me over when I got this out of the mailbox here. You guys know I love the Misfits, so a little Misfits, G.I. Joe Range Viper, a little collaboration right there, very, very cool. But G.I. Jive store is where you can pick this up and some other really cool G.I. Joe shirts. So I want to give them a special shout out for sending this my way. Very, very cool. Here, of course, Patreon. Every single month we have a Patreon giveaway. This month, Mattel WWE Elite Royal Rumble Wave. We're going to give away the whole wave to one Patreon viewer. Check out the Patreon for more details. And then the final thing is, of course, the MLC Facebook group giveaway. MLC Facebook group, search it out. When you do sign up to become a member, make sure you say Kyle Peterson sent me here. And then in the very comments below of this very video, put your comment, whatever it could be, but make sure you mention MLC somewhere in that comment to enter to win. We'll announce the giveaway winner here in the next couple of weeks. So check out that if you're looking for a $50 gift card to the Nerdzoic Toy Store. So a little housekeeping out of the way, and now we got to get into the news, and we are full of conspiracy. And once again, I said Jesse the Body, one of the all-time greats in the ring, one of the all-time great governors, one of the all-time great conspiracy theorists. I said, Jesse, do you have any more advice for me before I jump into this video? And here's what he said.
You are going to face tremendous public scrutiny. In other words, the media is going to jump down your throat. They're going to investigate you. They're going to want to know everything about you at whatever level, even at the local level. It'll be the local media, but you will face the media. So you have to go into it with your eyes open on that. You will face media scrutiny. You will face also your opponent. So the best thing that I found out, honesty. Honesty is the best policy. Always remember, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. And in the world of politics, having a good memory is important. So better just simply tell the truth about anything. Anything can be handled if you approach it with the truth.
Jesse's advice for me, we dive into the conspiracies of the week. And in all honesty, I don't know if this part is totally conspiracy, but there is some business tactics here, and I'm not sure if it's all good like we want to believe here. But let's dive in, and let's dive into what's on the tip of everybody's tongue. It is, of course, the WCW Stage. Yes, the WCW Stage, the Mattel Creations crowdfunding. We've talked about it for the last month or so. I was over there WrestleMania weekend. Hopefully you checked out all that content. I saw this thing live and in person. I've been saying it since the get-go. Man, this thing is beautiful. It is a lot bigger than you anticipate when you see it with your own two eyes in person. But I have heard the feedback. We've all heard the feedback. It's too big. The character selection's not there. It's too much money. Whatever the excuse, whatever the reason for not backing, it's all been out there. Well, Mattel addressed that this week as we've had a lot of challenges. The growth has pretty much stalled. People have started backing out. We've seen some vocal minority, as we always talk about it online in Facebook groups and things like that, really just having a lot of fun. I'm de-backing. I'm not backing, rooting against it, which, as I always say, why root against anything? It just seems so strange, seems so counterproductive. I wish I had that kind of time in my life. But people are going to do what they do, and that's people as general. But we saw the growth of the stage really come to a screeching halt this week. And I think Mattel said, hey, we got to do something. And what did they end up doing? Well, Friday around lunchtime in my area, right before I started filming this video, actually, they reshuffled the tiers. Of course, Steve Ogier, main man over there at Mattel, good brother number one, he did go over there and he said on his Instagram story, he said, okay, if we were going to reshuffle the deck, basically, who do you want to see the most? And they put up, of course, Hogan. They, of course, put up Scott Steiner, DDP, and the Ultimate Warrior. And to surprise of absolutely nobody, Scott Steiner was the Ultimate most people voted for, wanting there. So with that being said, Friday around lunchtime, they reshuffled the deck a little bit, and they did make the announcement on Mattel Creations that, okay, 5K backers from the Mattel stage, you will get the Ultimate Rey Mysterio, but you're also going to get the Ultimate Scott Steiner thrown in there. And then they reshuffled it a little bit more. DDP still at 7,000, but if we do get to 9,000 backers, we're getting that Ultimate Warrior. What are we doing? Get back, and we need that Ultimate Warrior. 9,000 backers, and then they threw Hulk Hogan on the back end at 11,000. I think most people, the vocal majority, I guess you decide on that one, said, hey, we don't want that Hulk Hogan. That's the one we want the least. They reshuffled the deck. They put Hogan in the 11,000 spot. I don't believe there's a possibility for that one. I think it might even be tough to hit 5,000 at this point because there's a lot of casual fans that, you know, took this in, saw this and everything else, and they may have missed or will miss this announcement, this reshuffling of the deck here. We still got a couple of weeks to get there, but you know what Jerry Reed always says? And he's exactly right. I mean, we've got a lot of backers. We got to have more backers join in that are there right now to get the Rey Mysterio and Scott Steiner. DDP's off there. Hogan's off there. Warrior's off there. We'll see if those guys come into play, but I think right now we got to push for 5K. And once again, it goes back to vote with your wallet. Is this for you? Can you afford this? Do you want this? Do you like WCW? All the reasons we've talked about here the last couple of weeks on the channel, but it'll be interesting. I have to think this will get some movement towards the 5,000. A lot of people want that Scott Steiner. We know that. So that's going to help sweeten the deal a little bit here for Mattel and for people that wanted Scott Steiner. Will it get there? We're going to stay tuned. We're going to pay attention later on, of course, the rest of the month up until early May when the crowdfunding does end. We'll see where everything nets out. We might even do a video recapping the whole process with some final thoughts, things like that. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. But it's not all roses, folks.
Message from Rob Halford of Judas Priest.
Step on the red, cross on the green, never take a ride in a stranger's machine, and always make sure you're burning on turbo power.
It's not all roses. I love that Mattel does this. They listen to the fan feedback. That's one great thing about the Mattel team. We've talked about it before. They are in tune with their audience. They talk to the audience. They're very easily to get a hold of. You can send them messages, DM them, whatever you need to do. They might not answer you in 2 seconds, but I think they will get back to a serious question in a very reasonable amount of time. I think that is a fair assessment there. But this is a very, very much a double-edged sword. I don't know what this means for future crowdfunding efforts because let's take a step back. There were so many people online, once again the vocal minority, but still out there saying, guess what? We hold tight. We don't back this thing. They're going to throw more in. They're going to do that. And Mattel team said, no, the offer is the offer. Myself here said, hey, I don't see anything happening here. The offer is the offer. At the end of the day, there has to be an ROI, a return on investment for Mattel. I don't care if Mattel's a $20 billion company or whatever they are. Every company, no matter the size, they have an ROI. That's just business 101. You have to have a return on your investment to do stuff. They are not a nonprofit. They're not going to lose money on this stuff. However, there was the vocal minority, like I was saying, hang tight, just wait. They'll put something else. They'll sweeten the pot for us. They did it with Macho Man last time. They'll do it again this time. I honestly thought they would not do that. Well, here we are today. They have sweetened the pot. They've dropped Scott Steiner down to 5,000. And now, unfortunately, that vocal minority, they are correct. They're 100% correct. We've seen a history of this. We saw it with the Macho Man early backer. We see it with Scott Steiner now. So now next year, let's say they do that Raw stage or whatever they do, there is going to be a large segment of the audience saying, hey, let's hang tight. Let's lay back on this because we know they'll throw something in. They've done it the last two. That's been what they've shown every single time they've done a crowdfunder. So now you got that history there. People are going to expect more than ever. And it really is the worry about, let's worry about next year mentality. And that sometimes is okay. That's great if Kyle's retiring in 2024. I'm going to blow everything I can this year, get my sales, get my numbers, get everything I want to, because I don't got to worry about it next year. I don't know if Steve, Robert, the Mattel team that works in WWE, if they're going to be off to greener pastures or retiring, doing something else next year. My gut says no. But it is the let's worry about about next year mentality, that's not always the best way to go to market, at least in my business experience. That's a dangerous precedent, and people don't forget. These big crowdfunders, this isn't just a regular Elite set. This is the big centerpiece collectible item of the year for Mattel. There's a lot of eyes on this. There's a lot of people that won't have short memories about this. So what happens in 2024 with that Raw stage? All of a sudden it's $400. There's 5 Ultimate Editions given with this. People are going to wait back. They're going to say, no, you know what? Unless I get this Undertaker Ultimate or whatever it may be, I'm not backing. I'm waiting. So it's a tough precedent for the Mattel team. I really do think this is going to hurt the future. I know when I do a video next year about it, I'm going to say, but you guys got to remember, they always gave us stuff last time, both times. So, I mean, that's always going to be looming there. So I don't like that, but at the same time, I do love that Mattel listens to the fan base. They want this to succeed, but it's interesting. We did see all the numbers out there saying, hey, this is the ROI. This is what we have to do. We can't do that. Well, they just, I don't want to say they were a liar, but they just showed right here that, hey, they can move mountains. They can give us another Ultimate thrown in there at the 5,000 for the same price point. So my gut, I think this is correct. They had an ROI. Well, that ROI just shrank down here. They needed the return on the investment. Now they're not going to get as much of a return by adding that Scott Steiner. And let's be honest, we know that Scott Steiner body, it was going to be used eventually for other Ultimate Editions for him. It's a way to kind of smoke and mirrors, do a little of that stuff. We all get that. But now we're basically getting a free figure thrown in with that Rey Mysterio. That's got to come out of the profits. That's got to come out of the cost of everything. So at the end, Mattel is not going to make as much money as they thought they were going to make on the first go around here. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. But I am very concerned about the future. I really want to see the bookend with of course, the Nitro stage right now, the Monday Night Wars, the Ultimates, all that stuff a year in between, and then bam, the Raw stage, really bookending this kind of history of the Monday Night Wars. I think that's a great idea. But to me, what I would do if I was Mattel, I would go way cheaper next year. I wouldn't give that Raw one. As much as I would love to have that next year, I don't know if the average Joe needs that next year. Maybe save that for 2025. I think 2024, you got to do a Funeral Parlor, a Piper's Pit, a Brutus the Barber Beefcake's Barbershop possibly. Give us the Barbershop. Let's pick on that one. Give us the whole diorama there with the background, plastic, nice, the barber chair. Give us a Brutus Barber Beefcake Ultimate Edition. Give us a Shawn Michaels Ultimate Edition in that black leather coat. Of course, some stage props and things like that. And then maybe if there's other tiers, you can get other famous guests from the barbershop. Nothing really chiming off the top of my head here. But I think that's what you got to do. You got to go a little bit cheaper. Let's go at like a $200 price point, $150 to $200 price point. Have some throw-ins there. Let's reset. Let's get it a little cheaper. I think that's the way to go, because I'm really concerned next year that Raw stage, no matter what they offer, no matter what they give us, people are going to lay back and they're going to say, well, they're going to give us more. I know they'll give us more. And like I keep saying, history has shown us the last 2 times they have given us more. So very, very weird dynamic there. I'm not sure I'm ready to throw the conspiracy blanket out there, but it is interesting business practice going on. It's great for the collectors. At the end of the day, the ones that wanted the Nitro stage, man, you just got a free figure thrown in there if we get to 5,000. So going to be very interesting to see where this all nets out. I think it's going to be a race to the 5,000 finish. Unfortunately, all the vocal minority, once again, with a lot of the negative publicity, have really talked some people out of backing this and things like that. So we'll see. Will Scott Steiner bring 2,500 plus more eyes that want to put their money where their mouth is? We'll see what happens, because a lot of people said, hey, they got to do more. Well, now they've done more. They've gave the one everybody wanted. Back it up. And like I always say, too, in business, I deal with this every single day, and it drives me absolutely nuts. You do polls of audiences. You quiz people, say, okay, what do you want? Will you do this? Do you want this? And everybody says, yep, I want that. I want that. And it seems that's the way those surveys always go. Well, when it comes time to get the wallet out, people don't always vote with their wallet like they say they will. That's a thing that drives me nuts, and I think we're going to see that a little bit here. You guys wanted Scott Steiner. You wanted something extra. We gave it to you. Now those people, well, I'm still not backing. I was just saying that. And so we're going to see where this all goes. It's going to be an interesting ride, but much more to come on this WCW stage. A lot to talk about with this, as you can imagine here. So we'll see what happens. Just very, very interesting times, and we'll see how it works out for them in the end. But that's not it for conspiracies this week. The major conspiracy is here, and it's a PowerTown conspiracy.
Ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance, Think about it.
Now, you guys know I've been all over this PowerTown stuff. What was it, 2 months ago maybe we did our first conspiracy video. I'm not necessarily saying it's 100% true, but I wanted to ask the questions. Somebody had to ask these questions, and it's almost like PowerTown saw some of my posts in some of the Facebook groups. I was kind of saying, okay, I think next week I'm going to do a video, and then all of a sudden we got an update this week from PowerTown. It said April update, but I don't remember having a March, February, January update, but anyways, long story short, PowerTown did send an update out this week. It said Series 1 is on the water. They say it is going to land in the United States the 3rd week of April for late April, May delivery. All sounds good. We'll see what happens with there, but that's when the conspiracy starts.
You ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance. Think about it.
All that glitters ain't gold.
There is a ton of questions I have right here because if you remember way back to, gosh, what was it? Was it February? The Major Pod live show where the figures broke. We had all the discussion, all the talk about the broken figures. At that time, they said, hey, all of Series 1 is halfway to the United States. Well, that was a month ago, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, whatever it is, what is time, as we always say. That stuff should be all unloaded. It should be in the PowerTown warehouse or whatever you may see. That stuff should all be here. Where is it? They have made zero mention of that first round of product. And my gut says, did that ever exist? I don't think it did. I think it's all just hearsay. I don't think they ever had them on the water like they said they did. I think they were trying to ease fan concerns, trying to meet timelines saying that. Let's be honest, we see it from so many different toy lines out there, Super 7s of the world, even the Hasbros and Mattels from time to time. They say this is coming out this time, and it's 3 months later than that, 4 months later than that, a year later than that in some instances we've seen in the past. And I think that was PowerTown saying, well, it's going to be close. We'll just say that. Nobody will say anything. We see it from a lot of toy companies, so I understand that. Now they've backed themselves into a bit of a corner because where is all this broken product? Where did it go? They were talking about selling it with a little sticker on there saying these aren't to play with or whatever for inbox collectors. If they truly do have those, and those truly do exist, you gotta think they would be making some money out of that. They aren't a Mattel. They're not a Hasbro. They're not a NECA, a McFarlane, or a Super 7. This is a very small company. They don't have super deep pockets. They're not a billion-dollar company, let's be honest. They can't afford to have all these broken toys out there unless they went back to the supplier and said, hey, we're paying half price for all this. Something like that. I mean, that's what I would do if I was running that ship. I'd say, you gave us inferior quality product, which then leads back to how does nobody test these products out before they leave? That was a big question in the last conspiracy video, still looming there. How do they not have some testing of your product to make sure everything functions the way it should? A lot of questions there. Watch the other video like I did say. But they should be getting a rebate or cash back or money off, whatever it could be from the factory in China. But where is all that product? Should be in a warehouse, like I said. They should be doing something with it, making some kind of money out of it. And it really does lead me to believe that that stuff never did exist. They called the plant because if you look, of course, they said it was supposed to be late Q1. So Q1 is now over. We are in Q2 now with April. So we should have had that product, let's say, a month ago in our hand. 4 weeks ago, whatever it may be. We should have had that by now. It's not here. Now they're saying end of April, beginning of May. Let's be honest, it'll shipping and everything at best. Everybody will have their product by the end of May. So they didn't meet the deadline. It's very, very interesting. I just think that product does not exist. I think they did call up China or whoever and said, oh, we got big problems. Go back. Stop the presses. Stop the presses. And that's what they did. That's what my gut tells me. I could be totally wrong, but it does seem very strange. It does seem very strange how quiet they've been. PowerTown has been absolutely quiet since about the week after that Major Pod show. Haven't heard a word, haven't heard anything, no real updates, and then all of a sudden this week, out of the blue, April update came at us. So I don't know, but where's all that product? That is the smoking gun at the end of the day. Where is that product? Either they need to show it being bulldozed and destroyed, set on fire, or whatever, or sell that to the public. Then you have the other good product coming to us that's going to ship out. So a lot of questions with PowerTown, the conspiracy running rampant, and we're not done with the conspiracies of PowerTown. As I was looking into the PowerTown website, I said, what the heck's going on here? I need to study up of what they've posted and what they've said. Went to their website, and you know what? There was a post in there, January 2023. Nobody has said anything about this until right now. So to me, this leads me to believe there is a very much a lack of interest in this product here. But January 2023, they were supposed to announce who was in their Series 1 of their traditional Remco line. Of course, Steve, the head of PowerTown there, was a part of Remco, so this is a near and dear love letter to his past. He was going to announce who was in Series 1 of that January 2023. Here we are, mid-April, no word, nothing on that Remco line. Is it done? Has it been canceled? What is going on? And I think the lack of people talking about it, saying, hey, where is this? Where is this? I think that tells you all you need to know, that maybe that wouldn't be back so good. We know finances aren't what they were of just a year ago for a lot of people. Inflation has hit hard. Cost of living. I don't know about you guys and your property taxes. Mine just went sky high. I'm going to have to start skipping meals to pay this property tax bill. There's a lot going on with a lot of people, money-wise, financial-wise, and I got to think that trickles down to small towns, small companies like PowerTown, maybe feeling a little bit more of that squeeze. Are they going to come out with this Remco's? I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but the conspiracy is in the air. Jesse Ventura is here, and we're going to get to the bottom of it one way or the other. But I want to know, where did the old product go? What is Remco Series 1? What is going to happen with Remco Series 1? Lot to be answered still, and we'll see. I'm very excited. I've said this all along. I'm asking these questions, but I don't know many that are more excited about this line than I am. This is playing a lot of hits to me. You guys know my love for the Jakks Classic Superstars. This theoretically could be a modern-day Jakks Classic Superstars line. I'm all in on that. You know I'm going to be a big buyer. I'd love to be a Double Up Club member. I just need some of my questions answered, and we'll see where those end up going here. But a lot of crazy stuff in the wrestling business side of things this week. I know I'm rambling on, but it's exciting stuff. It's exciting stuff, but it's inquisitive stuff. And it's rife with conspiracy, as I've said. So there it is. There's kind of the conspiracy take of this one. We might got one more conspiracy later on in here, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's finish off the wrestling news of the week. This week, Figure Collections showed off some more Bone Crunchers. There was some kind of a Toy Expo toy show. They showed off some of this. We saw Sonny Ono and the Ultimo Dragon, a very cool 2-pack. I think I already have that on pre-order. I can't even remember. I have so many pre-orders at this point. And then you got Gilbert as well. And one thing I was hoping not to see that I talked about in my Bone Crushing Superstar reviews was, I hope they don't do variants with every single one, but that seems to be the case, as we did see some different colored Sonny Ono and Ultimo Dragon. So it sounds like there's going to be 2 of those. Gilbert, can you do a whole lot more with Gilbert? We'll see what happens there. And we know the Macho Man, they'll probably have 10 different variants on the Macho Man, but those are coming sooner than later, so I guess we'll stay tuned for all of that. And now we turn our attention to a little bit of the retro wrestling figure news this week, as Rush Collectibles turned their head this week with a lot of different announcements. And we did see Roadblock. We saw the finished image of Roadblock, or I should say the in-hand prototype. Now, I don't know about you guys, when I think Roadblock, I think of a heavy machine gunner on the G.I. Joe team. But this Roadblock, of course, WCW Jobber. I did order these just to see what all the fuss is about. So, once again, I think we ordered these a year or so ago. Finally getting stuff. Companies sitting on our money. It's just kind of the way of the retro business, it seems like, at this point. But I got to say, the Roadblock looks really good. I hope in hand it looks as good as it does. Then, of course, Rush Collectibles did show off one of the long-announced retros they have in the pipeline there. Was kind of the Monster series. We saw Nosferatu, we saw Frankenstein's monster, of course, and then we saw the Zombie Seaman. Don't call him a sailor, he's a seaman. A seaman? Yes, a seaman. You heard it here first. But the Zombie Seaman. And one of these things, intellectual properties, I don't think they had to pay anything for these, because Nosferatu, I think, is public domain at this point. Zombie Seaman is a made-up character. And then Frankenstein's monster, I think, is in the fair use agreement there as well, as long as it's a little bit different, things like that. I'm not a lawyer at the end of the day. I call my dad in for that. But we did see some of those. I'm not sure about those. I don't think I'm picking those up, but you never know. There might be a deal. There might be something. It might catch me on a special day. I might pick up some of those. But we did see some of that. And then the big news this week, at least for me, I've been telling you guys this, but if you guys are following along on Instagram, my Instagram, Twitter, things like that, good friend of the channel, good brother number 1, good He-Man brother, Cody Rhodes showed off on his Instagram and his Twitter as well. He showed off in-hand samples that he got of his Mattel Creations Ultimate Edition. And that went up for a pre-sale around San Diego Comic-Con last year. That is not going to be sold again. It was a one-and-done thing. So that's going to be a very expensive one on the aftermarket. We're probably talking hundreds of dollars. If Logan Paul's selling for $300 to $500, what's Cody going to sell for? So there's going to be a lot of people bummed. I already saw in the comments for this, people saying, oh, I missed it. Well, I don't know how you missed it. It was up for like a month for a pre-order, but it is what it is. A lot of people missed it, but Cody did show that one off, and Cody was nice enough to tag me in the comments, and a lot of you guys said, well, you weren't joking. Cody is a good brother of the channel. I'm like, yeah, I told you guys. Why would I lie to you? Cody and I, we're tight. We're thick as thieves, old Cody and me. But he did tag me in that, and when you get tagged to something like that, you see all the replies and retweets and stuff. Man, my notifications were going crazy with that. And man, it's just crazy the comments Cody gets there. I feel bad for him. I don't even know why you post. I mean, so many people thinking like wrestling's 100% on the up and up about Roman. Roman told you who's boss, and people dogging him and stuff. Man, it's just crazy out there. But that's the life you live, I guess, as a superstar. But very nice of Cody to tag me in that one, talk to me and stuff like that. So I'm very excited for the Cody Rhodes Ultimate. It'll be interesting to see how it compares to the Jazzwares one, the Supreme line, of course. A lot of people picking sides. I always say, why not both? But we'll, of course, compare those here on the channel. Stay tuned for that in the future, hopefully in the next couple of months or so. But I think that's it for wrestling. Looking at my notes there, it's a busy wrestling week. A lot going on, but we got to turn our attention to some other things this week. And of course, with NECA, it's all about April. April O'Neil, April's announcements. It looks like we're getting the Archie Comics 5th Turtle. I guess that was from a Turtle Adventures Winter Special at one time. All foreign to me, but man, I'm here for it. I love that Archie line. Don't know the comics very well. Of course, I saw them when I was perusing the comic shops. I just never collected them, but I really like the looks of the figures. You guys know I love my turtle figures, so I'm very interested to see where this one ends up taking us. But the Archie 5th Turtle apparently is coming sooner rather than later. And then Storm Collectibles. Oh, everybody loves Storm Collectibles, especially wrestling, but Big Bad Toy Store did announce this week they are going to have an exclusive Liu Kang with a different colored dragon. So you Mortal Kombat fans, you want to dive into that. It's an expensive price point, of course, with that big dragon. I really want this one, but I'm going to try to play the long game. It's like $150 to $179. It is a lot of money for a figure, as we know, but a very cool looking dragon with that one, and one of those things that you could mix into other things if you really wanted to with that dragon. But very, very cool. Like the looks of that. My figure hunt this week, of course, check it out every single Friday on the channel. We get all the footage from my figure hunts for the week. And this week, Python Patrol officers dropped down to $11.49 in my area. How low will they go? We'll see. But Army Builders, now is your time to shine. Mount up. So be looking at your Target stores. A lot of good clearance going on at Target right now. Next couple of weeks, you'll see the new Legends Wave. You'll see some new He-Mans. You'll see the new Bret Hart Ultimate. A lot of new figures coming to the shelves in the next 4 weeks or so, let's call it there. So be on prepared for that. Mattel Creations this week. He Skeletor went up for sale. It did sell out. I did get my order in. I'm hoping I don't have a Frogmonger situation once again. We'll see what happens there. But He Skeletor, boy, it really just kind of plays with my head. I am not familiar with this character. Talk about a cheap and easy repaint. Let's get He-Man and let's paint him like Skeletor, and bam. There it is. That's getting the most out of your molds to the next level is what that is. But it is very cool. I did pick it up. We'll see what all the fuss is about here in a couple of weeks. Or I should say a week, because I actually got tracking already, and it's supposed to arrive to my house on Tuesday. So I guess a lot to look forward to in the old He Skeletor action figure game there. So more to come on that. Marvel Legends this week. The Super Skrull and the Skrull Queen 2-pack went up for pre-order. We saw that a month ago, as I always say, what is time? That did go up for pre-order. All the usual outlets there. Of course, the Entertainment Earth save 10%. Use discount code Kyle there. And then I'm not going to dive into all of this, but of course, Star Wars Celebration was last week. You guys know my love-hate with Star Wars. I've just been really down in the last year on Star Wars. Really breaking my heart here. I've been picking and choosing. I've been playing the long game, like a long game. I don't play with other lines out there, so I'm really picking and choosing out of Star Wars right now. But they did show some really cool stuff. One thing I wanted to highlight was this Doc Ondor Disney Store exclusive. I don't know this character, but I love myself a Hammerhead. I love the looks of this one, so I'm going to get this one for sure. You do know you're going to get Momom Nadon eventually, because they're going to get the most out of this mold of these Hammerhead characters. So that is a really cool look to the future there. We did see the Force Ghost, of course, of Anakin, Skywalker, Yoda, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Really harkens back to the old Power of the Force collection, the old 3-pack set there. I'm not sure. I didn't pull the trigger on my pre-order yet. I might play the long game. We'll see if it it works and wait for a Hasbro sale and try to get that on sale if that is possible. I'm not really sure if it will be, but I already have that Obi-Wan. I already have that Yoda. They were a Walgreens exclusive back in the day, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to play a little long game on those ones. We'll see. But I did pre-order the brand new Jabba the Hutt box set. You guys know I'm a sucker for a Jabba the Hutt. One of my favorite childhood toys was Jabba in his throne room and stuff when I was a little kid. Now I got to get this Jabba. I wish it came with a base for him. Maybe I'll have to go to a third party, something like that, to get that built because I really want that. Now I do have the old Black Series Jabba. I'm probably going to sell that one ahead of this one because I think I could still get some money out of that until this is released. But I want the fancy new one, so I'll help offset the cost a little bit is what I'll have to do there. So we'll see what happens. It also comes with Salacious Crumb. Oh, heavy hitter Salacious Crumb. Can't wait to have him in the collection. But I was very excited about that Jabba the Hutt. And $89 felt somewhat reasonable to me. I don't know. I guess you got to justify it to yourself. But I want Jabba so bad, an updated Jabba. I'm willing to pay $89 on that one. But very interesting. And then we did see a new Darth Vader, a simple repaint once again, but it's a Revenge of the Jedi artwork poster. Of course, a lot of people know the history of that. If you don't, look that one up. But I like the look of it with the black and the red. I thought it looked really cool, so I did pick that one up as well. But there's a lot of pre-orders for the Black Series Vintage Collection. There's a lot of stuff to digest. Me, I'm playing a little of that long game on that one. And then we got Kyrie turning our attention back to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this time in the Super 7 variety. We knew this was coming. We were waiting for this to come. Well, it was finally announced this week. Kyrie is replacing Rat King. Rat King is going to the next set. They're going to retool Rat King, get that going. So if you want to change your orders, things like that, reach out to Super 7, reach out to the retailer you did pre-order for to get your order fixed the way you want it to be. And then we're back to the conspiracy theories.
You ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance. Think about it.
And once again, not really. I don't know if this is really a conspiracy, but a lot of people sending me images. You guys, a lot of you guys send me stuff, and you know I'm kind of up on this stuff, so a lot of people send me stuff I already knew about and stuff, but I always appreciate you guys looking out for me. But Ramen Racer, of course, we've heard of this company before. I think I ordered a couple of Masters Universe He-Man heads for that movie He-Man figure, so I can't wait to get those. But they are making the Ghost Rider car, the failed HasLab. They're making it, and they're making it a lot cheaper than Hasbro did. And a lot of people are pointing the finger saying, Hasbro, you greedy company. Hasbro, this is what you get. This ramen toys, they're doing the same thing, but they're doing it cheaper. Yes and no. I mean, come on. Well, you guys, I know a lot of people say, oh, you shill for the big companies, things like that. I'm just giving my honest opinions. Nobody's paying me. Nobody's lining my pockets for these things. But Hasbro, yes, it was expensive. And fans voted with their wallets, said they did not want this. Now, the reception of this Ramen Racer, and they're almost to 1,000 units back, I think, at this point. A lot of people are saying they want this. And great for those people. And it's very customizable. They have effects for this thing. They even have one that looks like the Dukes of Hazzard car. Stuff like that. There's a lot going for this. And I think they have a pre-order head for kind of the Ghost Rider-like head for this. There's a lot of bells and whistles with this, and I don't fault Ramen Racer, and I think a company like Ramen Racer are ahead of things. I think that is the future of toys. I think 10, 15 years from now, 3D printing technology at your house is going to be, very simple. It's going to be a lot easier. It goes back to the old days of, let's talk music, CDRs. I remember the first CDR player I had, it was external off of my computer. It costed me like $2,000. The stories I could tell you about that maybe one day on the channel. Maybe I'll save that for Patreon. Don't want to get in trouble, but they were like $2,000. I think you can get a CDR probably for free with rebate at this point. So as technology goes, things like that happen. I think 3D printing, a lot of people, I think we'll see one day where Mattel and Hasbro will sell you a file that's encrypted or whatever, and you can print something yourself at your house, take out the middleman, things like that. I think that is the future eventually, but we'll see what happens. You know the future. You never can predict it. That's what they say, unless you're Nostradamus, maybe. But Ramen Racer doing all this, doing it much cheaper. Well, take that business step back a little bit here. You realize one of the reasons they're doing this cheaper is it's a small run, it's a third party, maybe some guy's garage party. I'm not exactly sure. It's not like it's a Hasbro Mattel office or something. But do you think they're paying any kind of licensing to Dodge for the Charger, Dukes of Hazzard, Hasbro, Ghost Rider, I should say Marvel and stuff? None of that is going there. Well, Hasbro can't release these things without paying Disney, paying off whoever it may be. They're more on the up and up, let's be honest. They are a major company. They're going to do things the right way to save themselves from lawsuits. Ramen toys, well, they skirt around the law because it's such a small fish. So you can't compare apples to apples and say, how dare you, Hasbro, this company did it, because this company is a lot smaller. They have 10 employees, 5 employees, 2 employees, who knows? Hasbro's got stockholders, they got lights, they got buildings. It's not apples to apples. You got to always remember that kind of stuff. But I do think this third-party stuff is very cool, and like I said, it is the wave of the future. If you're looking for that, hit up that old Ramen Racer, pick that one up. It looks pretty good. I guess we'll see what happens when the feedback. I don't think I'm picking it up at this point, but you never know. But most likely not. There's a lot of expense lately. My wife's vehicle as well. But there it is. But that's the toy news of the week. Looking at everything here, I don't see any more. There's a lot going on. A lot of quasi-conspiracies, we'll call it. Quasi-conspiracies. But Jesse Ventura, the gift that keeps on giving. Always appreciate old Governor Ventura coming here on the channel. But we're going to end, of course, the toy news of the week with albums of the week. It's a long video here today, but the album of the week, 72 Seasons, Metallica just came out on Friday, as did Scorched, another great thrash band. Overkill, if you don't know Overkill, what are you doing? The Green and Black Attack over there. So 2 big heavy hitters in my metal world having albums this week. However, I honestly don't have time to take a breath this week. I have been so busy at my day job. You guys, your head would spin if you knew the hours I've been keeping in the last couple of weeks. Been a little bit frustrating, been a little bit tiresome. I'm probably a little bit more tired today than the average. I'm really burning the candle at both ends, but we'll get there. We always do. Never surrender, never give up. You guys know how that goes. But this week, I will listen to those. I just got to devote some time. And I'm even thinking about doing like a top 5 next Thursday of Metallica albums. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll break up the cycle of figures. We'll do a little music talk. We'll do a top 5 Metallica. I'm kicking around that idea, but I will talk about those most likely next week in the toy news of album of the week. But this week for me, for whatever reason, going down the road, I decided to listen to Black Sabbath, Never Say Die, a very controversial Black Sabbath album, and most people that know of Black Sabbath never heard this album. A lot of people actually hate this album. It's right at the end of the Ozzy days, of course. Very burned out band at that point, much like myself, I guess, this week, but I really do find enjoyment. Yes, there's some bad stuff on there, but songs like Junior's Eyes, of course, the title track, Never Say Die, Johnny Blade's another good one there. There is some redeeming qualities there, and I think if you're a casual Black Sabbath fan, or maybe even a deep Black Sabbath fan, you probably haven't listened to Never Say Die in quite some time. It's worth a spin, maybe at least once. Like I said, there's some bad stuff on there, but there's a few standout tracks that are really deep-cut Black Sabbath that I think should be recognized a little bit more than they actually are. So this week, Never Say Die. Next week, I'll talk about 72 Seasons, and I'll probably talk about Overkill, Scorched. Very excited for those albums. Very excited to check those ones out. So there it is. There's the toy news, action figure news of the week. What interested you this week? What are your thoughts on stuff? Are you backing the stage? Are you one of the ones that wasn't backing, but you are now? Let me know in the comments down below. We'll keep our fingers crossed that we get the 5,000 backers. I don't know, though. My gut tells me at this point, is it too much too late or too little too late? I'm not sure. I hope it succeeds. I always love it when these things succeed. I want this for my collection. I want Scott Steiner. I want Ray. I want the Ultimate Warrior. Let's get this thing to 9,000. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting one. And of course, we're going to talk about it in the weeks to come. But let me know your thoughts on all the toy news this week. Of course, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the old notification bell. Always helps the channel when you do that as well. And then don't forget about Patreon, your best way to support this very YouTube channel. Get early access to all the videos, bonus content, exclusive content, Q&As, giveaways. That Royal Rumble set is the giveaway for the month of April. If you're into that as well, check out the old Patreon channel. And you can also support the channel at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. Don't forget to hit me up and follow along over on social media. SirPaul64 on Twitter. Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for the toy news of the week, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.